Beth, we didn't have an agenda for this. It's just to approve the funding, right?
And the location, I think, also.
Okay.
That's right.
There is an agenda posted. That's all it says, really. But
Yeah, there were no attachments. I do have a couple of recommendations that were sent to me that I can probably read off if it's becomes an issue to share.
Hi, friends.
Hi,
Good to
Kira.
see you. Hi,
Yeah, good.
Kristen. Hi, Laura. Hi, Lacey. Hi, Beth.
Good to see everybody. Out of just pure curiosity as I wait for the meeting to start, I'm trying to like read the board behind Lacey. I've decided it says either sample mascots or sample magnets.
Neither.
Funny.
I am trying to put together a sustainability certificate program for CSUMB. So that's some of my brainstorming for it.
That sounds excellent.
Yeah.
Like a professional certificate or something connected with existing undergrad degrees?
More of a professional certificate. It's aimed at staff and faculty.
So cool.
Yeah. Okay, I think. I don't think we have quorum yet, so I'm going to give it another minute before.
Uh-oh.
Beth, did you hear back from people? Do we know if we'll have enough?
We should.
Isn't 4? Am I counting wrong?
I thought it was 4.
4 is quorum. We have 4.
Oh yeah, I wasn't counting myself. Aw.
You count.
Thanks. Okay. Well, I will call to order this special meeting of the Environmental Committee, January 12th. And I will just go through the names and you can say here as I see them on my screen. Kristen Mollet.
Here.
Laura Murphy.
here.
Kira Pani.
Here.
Mariana del Valle Prieto Cervantes.
Here.
Did I get them all? All right. Are there any items folks want to add to the agenda at this point? Seeing none. I don't believe there's any public comment. I don't have the controls on that. So we will continue. So the purpose of the special meeting is to determine the placement for the Bee City USA sign. Then I think there might be some
2 signs?
budget question. Yep, 2 signs. Beth, I think you're able to share the screen if you have anything that you want to share with us.
Yeah, give me a second.
Okay.
Having to close everything else because it's not giving that as an option yet. Let's see. Here we go. So I did receive some input on the location. A reminder, this is signed with 2 of them. And then there's an input I received on potential locations. One first suggestion was Fremont and Canyon del Rey. near the garden there, which Danielson of the now Parks and Rec Commission has come to us talking about before. Second is a public park where we have planted some of the pollinator plants that we received from the Xerces. And then the last suggestion is potentially at City Hall if we do pollinator plantings there. Otherwise, the suggestion of doing it at the high school because they did take on a small part of that project. I don't know how.
We lost you, Beth. The last I heard was, I don't know how.
And whether or not there's another sign on there or not, who knows? And if not, then the recommendation would also include, funding to put up the post, and we could say a not to exceed amount because I don't have a price on that. And that's all I have for that.
Beth, I think that we all missed about half of your statement because your sound had cut out.
Regarding the funding, you saw the slide, right?
You
So
see
that's
the
what-
slide regarding potential locations, and I can't exactly say altogether the entire, I would say, middle section of everything you said.
Excellent.
Yeah, we lost you after you mentioned the high school as a potential location verbally, and then we came back in kind of somewhere around when you were saying that we would just have a not to be exceeded amount.
Then you caught everything essentially.
Ah.
If we decide to put it in a location that doesn't have an existing post, then we should, no matter what, I think, put some funding towards it and say a not to exceed amount. Whether or not we use it, we'll find out.
How much does it cost to put in one of these signs?
That's what I don't know. But the signs were already purchased. So if there's an existing sign that we double up on, or maybe it's something that we end up removing from an old sign, that is a possibility. That crosses my mind at Lincoln Cunningham, where it's like drug-free zone and the sign's covered in moss. Whether or not that's has any relevance anymore is the question.
Laura, what's your take on, just based on how many plants have gone where? If we want to focus on putting them near where the plantings are.
Well, so there is this significant community effort, which the Environmental Commission has not really been party to, but many of the Xerces plants did go to the Havana Solis planting. I think that that's inspiring and that seems like a reasonable location. Otherwise, also Lincoln Cunningham is, again, a community-led effort. Sustainable Seaside is stewarding there. There are a significant number of individuals involved in taking care of that area. And it's a larger park with a lot of traffic, a lot of people moving through that park. I think that that also makes sense. So as far as park sites, those would probably be my top candidates.
I like, assuming that I'm correct remembering we have two signs, I like the idea of having one somewhere that bystanders who aren't park goers would see, kind of like just when you drive into Monterey, you see their Tree City sign all the time. And then as people move around the community, they would run into it occasionally. And I would like, and one being at a park where we've done a lot of pollinator plantings, because it might help to inform why the landscaping looks the way it does. That would be my opinion. I'd like to split them in that way.
So one at the entrance, at an entrance, and one at a park. Yeah, the only problem, I always notice like the Tree City sign in Monterey, and I like seeing those. The location in Seaside where we have a lot of those signs up, I guess it's on North Fremont, where that North Fremont and Del Monte split, coming off the highway if you're going south. There's a lot of signs there, and my fear there is that it would just get lost amid the 15 other signs.
Is there also a Tree City sign near Roberts Lake on Canyon Del Rey?
I don't know.
I think so.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen it there.
Because I wouldn't want to put it at that fork over near the Sand City area too. It's too cluttered, and it's hard to
Mhm.
tell what applies to Sand City and what applies to us, anyways.
So what, do you have two specific locations that you are proposing? Roberts Lake and a park?
Yeah, well, per Beth's slide, the entrance to the city location she was suggesting was Fremont, but near Canyon Del Rey, so closer to like the Safeway and Walgreens intersection, because there's the garden at that end as well. And so that was the one on her slide. As a backup, I'd say Roberts Lake. And just taking in Laura's recommendations about the parks. It sounds like my take on what she said was Lincoln Cunningham would be a great first choice, and Havana Soli is a great second choice.
They're essentially contiguous, right? So placement even in the middle for people who walk through there would be good enough. And that way we could kind of celebrate both of the separate work groups that have been participating in that.
Great.
Any other comments from other commissioners, or is there a motion on the table?
So I would just add my comments. I don't think the entry to the city in terms of a drive-by sighting anywhere would really be ideal. And so I'm more in favor of someplace like near City Hall or in downtown on Broadway even, or Roberts Lake, or another highly public place where people are more likely to pass on foot and observe the sign, especially in a place where we could also even establish a token set of pollinator plants underneath the sign so that there's some kind of sense to it, some kind of connection to the actual plantings.
Yeah, I like that, Laura. I think that City Hall makes sense, and so does Laguna Grande. And the Dry Garden is, I don't know if it's technically a part of Laguna Grande or just adjacent to it, but I agree that it's more likely to be viewable and appreciated on foot than or on bike than by car. So maybe there's an adjustment that can be made to Kristen's idea where we do sort of put it somewhere sort of close to that intersection near the entrance to the city, but a little farther down where people will be in Laguna Grande on foot or on bike, near areas where there are citizen stewarded plants.
For me, just an idea that comes to mind right now, Roberts Lake has that newer play structure where parents will be going with their kids, and that Bee City signed is a little bit cartoonish and fun, which might draw up some questions from people visiting there.
Yeah, Roberts Lake is also near the rec trail, which does see some good bicycle commuter traffic as well as people out exercising.
Yeah, I think even whichever one we choose, I think it is a good idea to have it somewhere where there's a lot of foot traffic. And in one of the parks where we did a lot of the planting, I think those two would be a good idea.
So I just brought up the map. So this is Laguna Grande Park. I think the play structure is around this area. Or is it further down? Maybe over here more.
Yeah, can you pull up the satellite?
Yeah, sure.
I know there's a play structure on the coastal side of Roberts Lake. I admit I haven't been visiting play structures much in shelter in place.
This one is probably the busiest play structure area.
It's also across the street from City Hall.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we could do a section of this grassy somewhere. there a specific location people want to narrow down, or do we want to give a general area and then?
Is there a way to
Can you
check
pan
for?
up? Sorry, can you pan up to Roberts Lake too, just so everybody can check out that location in its context?
It might be helpful if anyone's familiar with the existing posts that we can use, because I think that was part of the decision-making process, and I am going to admit I cannot picture any posts at any of these spots.
I
Well,
think
there's
one of the
fencing.
Tree City signs is a little bit just across from like the S and the Starbucks that we see on the map.
Here.
My memory is that there's something on that side.
Yeah, near
But
the
that's
seahorse.
less of a concern. Right. That's less of a concern now. That's just more of a convenience. I'm sure we could find something in either of the park areas, whether it's even an existing parking sign of some kind or what, or even a post.
Is there some existing landscaping here? Because
There-
if there is, there might be irrigation and we can put some plants in there by the sign.
There
My
is.
memory is that it's long.
I bike that way regularly. There's some ground cover plantings near the corner, and then lawn nearby, and there is irrigation because I've gotten sapped with it before. But it does mean that so basically the wedge that you just moved your mouse back and forth over, over there has non-lawn stuff, and there's a seahorse statue over in that area, and I think the Tree City sign is somewhere in that area. And then the between the road and the curve of the coastal trail is a strip of lawn. So that, all that area you're touching now is non-lawn landscaping.
I think that would be a good location. It's high traffic for pedestrians and bikes. I mean, it is, not a lot of people might see it on their cars, but it's still near a high traffic area, and there's plantings we could do there. And maybe we could even use the same pole or something as the Tree City pole.
I like it. It also distinguishes, so then we'll have one in a park and one in a, commute path, so to speak.
Yeah, I just looked at Street View, and one of the existing Tree City signs near there, at least, is before the lighted intersection where you can turn left into a Home Depot shopping center. I'm not sure. I'll check if there's one on that corner as well.
So if we, sorry, go ahead, Mariana.
I was just going to say, I like that location. The park goes, I know we were talking about Canningham because it's very high level foot traffic as well. But I also feel like the Havana Solis has a great story attached to it and would be a great designation as the second place to put the sign.
Yeah, let me try to zoom over there. Don't get seasick here as I.
We're good. I like
The only sign that I saw near the entrance to the bike trail is a sign saying bike path this way. I'm not sure if we can place on that or if that is in another jurisdiction, but I think that's a good location. And plus what we're about to talk about here.
Yeah, and there's also the it's near a bus stop, which is also good for traffic.
Yep. Okay, here's Havana Solis Park, and this is where a lot of the new plantings have gone in, correct?
Yes, it's all on the eastern side of the park.
And there's benches here, and it's a little bit hard to see, so I'll just point out the path, walking and pedestrian path kind of goes through this way, through there. And then I think it continues on out, maybe splits a little bit and goes around. Does anybody have a preference for where it might go in this park, or would you rather me zoom in on Lincoln Cunningham?
I think if somebody makes a motion for the 2 locations that we said and it gains traction, that the very specific location, especially for Havana Solis, I mean, if it goes in the park, it goes in the park. That might give us the opportunity, without being too specific here and now, to talk with people and see what their preference is.
I think that's appropriate.
Great.
Can we just maybe just be mindful of where there might be irrigation, and if we want to put other plantings around it? Because I wouldn't want to put this sign in the middle of, dried sand.
So Havana Solis Park currently has no irrigation, neither does Lincoln Cunningham. They have no established irrigation source, so they're receiving the watering truck in order to irrigate the plantings that are being established.
Okay. Maybe then just near existing plantings so that it's connected, it's a little bit more clear.
I think that would make sense, but if I were going to make a motion, it would be for a general purpose that okay, I will make a motion.
All right.
Go for it. Everybody's ready.
Murphy, will you please remember to include the potential for us spending not to exceed if we do need to erect some kind of post?
So I would move that we elect to put one of the Bee City signs in the area of Roberts Lake along the recreation path, or where it makes most sense, if there is an established post that we can utilize, and that we put the second sign in Havana Solis Park, again, in the place where it makes the most sense, but within the boundaries of that park. Exact location to be determined on consultation and evaluation of the park itself for existing posts, for an amount not to exceed, and I'm sorry, I don't know what our not to exceed amount is, but not to exceed whatever the budget is. That's my motion.
I second.
I second that. Or thirded. I think Mariana got in.
Yeah. Seconded by Mariana. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All
Can we do a
opposed?
roll call vote on that, please?
Yes.
Yeah. Kristen Mole,
Aye.
Laura Murphy,
Aye.
Kira Pani,
Aye.
Mariana Del Valle Prieto Cervantes,
Aye.
and
Lacey.
Aye. I vote aye. Okay, motion passes unanimously. Thank you, everyone. I believe that's all we had on our agenda, unless there are any reports that people would like to announce.
I can make a report, a little update on habitat activities. And so I've met with Diane Nielsen from the Parks and Recreation Commission, together with Kathy Rivera from Sustainable Seaside. We met at Lincoln Cunningham Park to discuss the possibility of planting trees as a part of an initiative being moved forward by Diane with the Parks and Rec Commission. And so the Parks and Rec Commission held a special meeting yesterday to discuss what their application or proposal to the Neighborhood Improvement Commission would be for funds for a variety of parks projects, including to fund this initiative for planting trees in parks. So we've met, and there will be a proposal moving forward for funding through Parks and Rec. At the same time, Sustainable Seaside reminded all of us that they continue to have funding available for their pollinator initiative, which had been funded through MC Gibbs the prior year. And we have been consulting about how to use those funds and moving forward with replacing plants where they've been lost to gophers or other disturbance. So activities are continuing in parks. Stewards are continuing to monitor. We're having a very dry winter, unfortunately. Exactly what we had hoped against, but we're having to continue irrigating and maintaining plantings. But the plant materials that we receive from Xerces have proved to be very resilient, remarkably so, and they are maintaining. So that's my update.
Thank you, Laura. Any other updates from other commissioners? I will let you know, I sent a welcome letter to our new council member and just expressed my interest in having our committee work with him. He's very much supportive of climate action goals as well as the plastics policy. So that is good. And Kira, Mariana, and I will be meeting with Mayor Oglesby tomorrow over Zoom to also talk about the plastics policy and to see if we can get it moving forward in a timely manner. All right. Beth, do you have any other reports?
I do not.
All right. With that, we will adjourn. When is our next meeting? I should have checked that before this.
We all look like we don't know, so we're all in the same boat.
Okay.
We were doing every 3 months, but then we moved from November. Normally I would say that I would expect us to be meeting in February, but since we met in December, did we push it back again?
No, I think February.
So February 9th.
Yeah. So we will be sending out some emails looking for agenda items and such before that meeting. So until then, be well and do great things. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks all.